Versailles Castle is a symbol of the supreme power of the French feudal dynasties with an extremely massive and splendid area and architectural works. A park with an area of 815 hectares. Versailles is one of the castles the most beautiful and largest monument in Europe as well as in the world. In 1979, Versailles Castle was included in the list of World Heritage Sites by UNESCO. Palace of Versailles is one of the most famous places in France. It was built in 1624. The palace was originally just a small house in the suburbs of Paris, used as a resting place for Louis XIII and his family. However, later, Louis XIV decided to expand this house to create a more splendid palace for the French royal family. With an area of more than 67,000 square meters and more than 2,300 bedrooms, the Palace of Versailles is considered one of the largest palaces in the world. It includes multiple staircase rooms, living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, library rooms, exhibition rooms, royal gardens and more. The Palace of Versailles has a long and complicated history. This palace was built in the 17th century and was used as a living space for the French royal family for many centuries. It was designed by French architect André Le Nôtre and includes a number of very famous rooms, including the imperial staircase, the royal bedroom and the royal dining room. In 1789, this palace became the center of the French Revolution when a small group of Parisians stormed the palace and killed many members of the royal family. Later, this palace became a dormitory for government officials. However, in 1837, King Louis Philippe decided to restore the Palace of Versailles and turn it into a popular tourist destination. During the 20th century, the palace underwent many renovations and repairs to preserve and restore its classical character. Today, it is one of the most popular tourist destinations in France and attracts millions of visitors every year. Each room and hallway in the palace is meticulously cared for with lavish architecture and interiors. All the paintings and reliefs decorated in the palace aim to praise the famous Sun King of France. The Great Staircase is one of the outstanding highlights of the palace. With a grand design and classic style, this staircase is built from stone and marble. It is decorated with gemstone artwork and the walls are hand-painted with portraits of emperors and empresses. 5. The royal bedroom is one of the most beautifully decorated rooms in the Palace of Versailles. With its luxurious and enchanting design, this room is the sleeping place of French emperors and queens. It is decorated with beautiful artwork and fine silk curtains. 6. Although the Royal Opera House was planned to be built in 20 years, it only took 2 years for this project to be completed in time for the wedding of King Louis XVI. However, this hall was only used about 40 times before the feudal dynasty in France collapsed. 7. The Royal Garden. The Royal Garden is one of the palace's most famous gardens. With an area of more than 800 hectares, this garden was designed by architect André Le Nôtre and includes many small gardens, lakes and castles. Visitors can walk, sightsee or participate in outdoor activities at this garden. 8. You can visit all year round. However, to avoid crowds and cold weather, you should come in spring or fall. During these months, the weather is warm and flowers bloom, creating a cheerful and colorful atmosphere for the palace. During the summer, temperatures at the Palace of Versailles can be very high, so you should bring a jacket and drinking water to keep cool and avoid hunger and thirst. During winter, the temperature is often very cold, so you should bring a warm jacket and sneakers to move easily on paved roads. Visiting the palace in July, visitors have the opportunity to witness the Bastille Day celebration with many exciting activities. From January to March, coming to the palace, you can participate in musical performances. To enjoy your trip safely and conveniently, you should book tickets in advance to avoid waiting for a long time at the ticket counter and hire a tour guide for direct guidance. Hope this information will help you have a wonderful travel experience at the Palace of Versailles. Visiting the palace in July, visitors have the opportunity to witness the Bastille Day celebration with many exciting activities. From January to March, coming to the palace, you can participate in musical performances. To enjoy your trip safely and conveniently, you should book tickets in advance to avoid waiting for a long time at the ticket counter and hire a tour guide for direct guidance. Hope this information will help you have a wonderful travel experience at the Palace of Versailles. The palace's architecture follows the standard rules of classicism such as symmetry of buildings and multi-column corridors. Inside are large rooms connected by corridors including the King's Large Room, the Queen's Large Room or the Mirror Room. In the 10th century, monks also built the first building in this land, which was the church, St. Julian Monastery. In 1472 the small town of Versailles-Auxbourg de Gailly began to appear. A small castle of the Lord of Versailles began to replace the old church. In 1623, King Louis XIII built a small house made of brick and stone in the forest of Versailles to serve as a place to stop while hunting. In 1643, King Louis XIV ascended the throne. He felt uncomfortable with any royal palace in France at that time. The first time he visited Versailles, he felt excited and decided to gradually move the royal family to Versailles with the intention of turning it into the most magnificent palace among European royal families. The person assigned to design this project was Louis Lavaux in 1668. When visiting Versailles Park, you should bring a map of the entire palace and gardens to easily identify the highlights of Versailles. Perhaps the most famous place at the Palace of Versailles, the Hall of Mirrors, consists of 357 mirrors that reflect golden surfaces and dazzling crystal chandeliers throughout the room. With enchanting beauty, the Hall of Mirrors also has works painted on the ceiling, depicting the history of King Louis XIV's reign. This exhibition space was designed by Jules Hardouin Mansart and completed in 1684. Versailles Cathedral was built under King Louis XIV, completed in 1710, and is several meters taller than the surrounding buildings. Every day, the king is said to come to this church to pray. This church is decorated with many works of art by famous artists of the 17th century. Many historical events, such as the wedding of Prince Dauphin Louis XVI and Princess Marie Antoinette, took place in the house. This magnificent shrine, from a castle in the suburbs of Paris, it became a symbol of luxury and royal power of the French court during the reign of King Louis XIV. With the change of the French Revolutionary period, it underwent a transformation from a royal palace to a museum of French history. Palace of Versailles is not only a castle with top-notch architecture, but also a symbol of the rise and fall of French royal power. Today, it is a World Heritage Site and a popular tourist destination that attracts visitors from around the world to learn about French history and culture. Palace of Versailles is a vivid recollection of royal times and the French Revolution, and it continues to defy time to share with the next generation the mystery and beauty of the past. From a castle in the suburbs of Paris, it became a symbol of luxury and royal power of the French court during the reign of King Louis XIV. The Palace of Versailles is not only a castle with top-notch architecture but also a symbol of the rise and fall of French royal power. Today, it is a World Heritage Site and a popular tourist destination that attracts visitors from around the world to learn about French history and culture. The Palace of Versailles is a vivid recollection of that time, royal period and the French Revolution, and it continues to beat the times to share with the next generation the mystery and beauty of the past.